Hello and welcome back. Well, it's time to get dirty, take this thing apart and get it painted and put back together, maybe change some bad bearings. I'm kind of looking forward to it. A lot of dirty work, but the outcome will be good. It'll be worth it. Anyway, let's get started. This assembly here is made really well. It's got like a dovetail here. It's like a jigsaw puzzle to get apart. Boy, that's a puzzle to get apart there. That's pulling the gib up right there. And really that stud needs to come out just like it did here. Well, that's all one casting right there. And that screw goes through the casting right there. But the threads end there and they end there. I was wondering how the heck that came off. I thought maybe that was two-piece, but I found it. It was buried under some dirt here. There's a pin right there. That lead screw is turned down and there's a pin. I'm going to grind that side off and drive it through. You know, it's out of there. I don't know where the pin went. All right. I think a lot of those flames are the penetrating oil I put in there. Shoot. There we go. Wow, I thought they'd come out of there. We have to take that screw out of the bottom there. We're getting it now. Yeah, that's well made. Yeah, I got all these rollers cleaned up. I did not take them apart. They feel pretty smooth. I'm going to soak them in oil. Ooh, left-handed threads. Almost out. Cold and wet out here, even raining. Probably crazy. going to come out nice. That's solid brass. Okay, that's the top pulley assembly. Doesn't look too complicated. Oh. Bearings feel rough, but the other one I cleaned up was actually smooth after I cleaned it up. I'll probably replace these. The one in the bottom of the spindle no longer exists. At least I can't find it. But we'll clean this up. Let's take a look at how this thing is made. I'm very impressed with it. It's in good shape. Of course, that's the taper. The chuck goes in there. And this is a precision bearing right here. It's very tight. In good shape, fortunately, because you can no longer get that bearing. At least I haven't found it. That's the quill. In here, it's got a screwdriver slot with a hex head. And there's a pin that goes through it right there to stop that from backing out. I'm going to leave it just like that. This goes in there. That presses in, and then this nut goes in there to hold the outer race. And then, this is the upper part with the drive pulley. Drive pulley fits right there. And then there's a spacer and another bearing and retaining nut, left-hand thread. Everything on this spindle is left-hand thread. But what's interesting about this is this also drives the spindle, and if you look inside, there's two keys in there. Those two keys mesh with that right there. But this is like a stepped key. It's smaller. Yeah, maybe the same dimension key, but it's pressed in there, and I'm not taking it out. But those keys sort of grab the pulley on the outside and the quill on the inside. Thought that was pretty ingenious the way they made that. Well made, very impressive drill press. Okay, I'm going to use paint remover. I don't generally like to do this in the house, but the weather is not very good. But I'm going to coat all these parts with paint remover and then put a piece of plastic over it. It says not to breathe this stuff, and I can see why. This is some strong stuff. Wow. I just opened the garage door. Wow, looks like it's doing a good job. Yeah, I'll have to give this a second coat of stripper. It's taking off all the gray paint, and then there's a black layer under that, or a gray layer. And then I think the bottom layer is Japanning. And the Japanning, the paint stripper will soften the Japanning, but it will not get rid of it. It won't take it off. Or at least the paint stripper in the past hasn't. Precision woodworking. This thing is fairly well thought out and precision. It's got machine surfaces all around here, and it's got keys. I don't know what it's going to take to get them out, but there are keys that lock it into place when it's bolted together so it won't rotate. They don't go very deep, but it's fairly impressive that they just didn't rely on the bolts or a pin or whatever, but it's got keys in it. One. Not the greatest. Maybe I can touch it up. Well, there's the pieces I cleaned up with paint remover, and there was a surprising amount of rust underneath the original paint and Japanning. And if you look here, there's grinding marks where they touched up the castings. All that was filled in with Japanning, and it was really hard to get off. So instead of I did these three parts, and instead of doing the whole drill press, I had it sandblasted. Took a shortcut. Well worth the money too. There it is, all done. If you look right there on the lower part of the casting, those dark areas, that's where oil's coming back out of the castings. I will wipe that with acetone before I prime it. It's about the only thing you can do. It's also fairly bad right there. But I've seen that before, and the paint holds up fairly well if you wipe it with acetone before you prime it. And then the final coat stays put pretty good. I'm going to put a etching primer on there. That's the reading I've done said that that's the best thing to do, and then a filler primer. The filler primer is kind of like that old lacquer gray primer, and it tends to fill in all the grinding marks and stuff, but we'll see. I've never done it this way before. I may put some Bondo in some of the deep little voids. That's the next step. That looks kind of challenging. Probably should have taken this to a paint store and had it mixed for about 2 hours. Well, I might be rushing things a little bit here, but it's been about 30 minutes and I'm curious what this primer does. Seems to be sanding all right. I was wondering if it'd fill in any of the grinding marks. Yeah, there's no doubt it's filling it in. How much, who knows. Okay, I removed the wood, gave this thing about 4 more coats of the filling primer and sanded between coats, and I think it's gonna do good. We're ready to paint. I went to the store today and I had a hard time picking out the color. It was between mauve and chartreuse, and actually, I'm kidding. I'm gonna paint it hunter green. It's a I don't know, I had a hard time deciding, to be honest with you, but we're going to go with green. Anyway, let's get started. That's the color we're going with. I hope it looks good. What do you think? I think I like it. Pretty bright. Well, that about wraps it up for today. I think I like the color. It's looking better the drier it gets. The shininess kind of evening out. Join me next week and we'll put this thing together and hopefully give it a try. And then after that we'll build a stand. I haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to do that yet. I think I got enough metal to build a really nice stand. It probably won't have that antique look like this thing, but it'll work out good. Anyway, thanks for joining me, and be sure and subscribe and ring that bell. Thanks.